So welcome everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Kristen Tigas, for those of you that we haven't met. And I have been using essential oils for about 6 years now, and I've been teaching essential oil classes for about 5 years now. And I've really, for the last 10 years, I've been in love with natural health, and I love to teach classes. It's one of my favorite things that I get to do. And it brings me back to those initial moments when we first got our oils. And it's funny because one of our first experiences with essential oils where we really saw the therapeutic benefits was when my husband burnt himself in the kitchen. And so we pulled out our lavender and I was like, I think you can use it for burns. And so he put some on his skin, and within a few minutes, the stinging was gone. And we were both kind of wowed. And it's funny because I actually burnt myself tonight in the kitchen and used my lavender for the burn. And it's so awesome to have these super simple tools at our fingertips to support our family. Haley is also going to share a little bit during her class today. Haley, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, I think you're muted.
Thanks. So Kristen introduced me to oils about 4 years ago. I've been using them since, but I've been interested in natural things for a lot longer than that. Kristen and I actually went to college together, so we were roommates for a little while and just fast friends. So anyway, I'm glad to be here too.
Yay. Here we go. So our goal ultimately during this class today is that you would leave being confident of 3 cool things about essential oils. And then we're going to talk briefly about the 3 ways to use essential oils. And then we'll talk about how you can get doTERRA in your home. So the 3 cool things about oils. Number 1, they're safe. A lot of times I get asked questions like, are there side effects, or do they interact with medications, or do they have addictive properties or anything like that? And the reality is with essential oils, they don't. They don't have any of those things. There's no side effects, no issues with addictions. There's nothing you have to worry about with medications. Ultimately, these are literally just extracts that you get from different plants. And my favorite part specifically about doTERRA is that I always feel confident that I know that they're 100% safe because there's nothing that's been added to them. And the reality is, in the essential oil world, it's an unregulated industry, meaning that there can be a lot of claims on essential oil bottles, and you have to make sure you dig to be able to find if those claims are actually true. And so with doTERRA, what initially drew me to them when I first got my oils, I did a lot of research because I wanted to make sure they were pure. I was looking for ways to eliminate synthetic fragrances because I had learned that synthetic fragrances are hormone disruptors. And so I was trying to eliminate those from my life. So when I got essential oils, I really wanted to make sure that I knew that it was pure and there was nothing else added to it, nothing that was synthetic or going to be harmful to my health. And so the thing about doTERRA that really drew me to them was the fact that they, number 1, they don't own their farms. They get their oils from all around the globe. And they do that because when you source your oils from specific locations, they actually can be more potent because the plant was meant to grow in that area. So that's why they source the oils from all over. And then they do third-party testing through a company called the Aromatic Plant Research Center. And they do over 11 different tests on every single batch of oils that they get from these farmers before they buy it to sell it then through doTERRA. And then those tests, it's super sweet because they actually take those test results and put them online. And it's hard to see this, but this is actually a lot number. And you can put that lot number into a website called source2u.com, and it will show you all the test readouts from that specific batch of oil that your oil came from. So for me, that was really the big thing for me was seeing the tests and then also seeing the transparency that doTERRA has with their oils. So if we were here together tonight, I would grab out our peppermint and we would pass it around. And I would have everybody just go ahead and take a drop in their palm. And then you would put your finger in it and put it in your eye. Just kidding. You wouldn't actually do that. when oils get in your eyes, it burns a ton. And so if that ever happens, just make sure to use like some coconut oil or butter or milk, something that's like a fat, because that helps to dilute the oil, the essential oil. Whereas like something like water will actually intensify it and make it worse. So what we would actually do is we would swipe the peppermint across our forehead and on our temples. And peppermint is a super invigorating oil. So we could rub our hands together. And if you were in the room with me, you'd already be smelling it just from my hands. Peppermint is so potent from doTERRA, and it just opens your airways. And literally there's scientific studies that show how peppermint opens your airways and helps you get 10% more oxygen to your brain. So there's actually a lot of elite athletes, Olympic level athletes or other people in professional sports around the US and beyond that will use oils like peppermint pre-workout because they get so much more oxygen right before they go to compete. So anyways, peppermint is great for energy. It's great for clearing like any congestion and just opening your airways. Like I said, it's also helpful for headaches, or if you're feeling just like some brain fog or maybe sleepy, it's going to help wake you up. And then it also is a really cooling oil. So as I sit here, I can like feel the cooling on my skin. And ultimately, I have a friend, her daughter was fevering once, and she took her temperature before and after applying peppermint diluted on her daughter, and it decreased her daughter's fever by a degree. So it's a great oil to have for kiddos too, because it can decrease a fever if that's something you're wanting to do. So the second cool thing, sorry, that's the first cool thing. The first cool thing is that they're safe. You can use them on kids, you can use them on elderly people. They're 100% safe. The second cool thing about essential oils is that they're effective. And oftentimes they're actually more effective than modern approaches to certain health problems. And the example I'm going to go through tonight, you can all like see on the screen, there's a little picture of the cell, and it just looks like exactly what we would have learned about in like high school level biology. So the wall on the outside is called a cell membrane, and that's what protects the cell and what allows things to go in and out of the cell. And so when we get sick and we go to the doctor and the doctor says to us, I'm sorry, I don't actually have anything for you, you have a virus. In that sort of an instance, the reason we can't get help is because a virus is like that little orange thing inside the cell. Viruses multiply inside of a cell, and medications like antibiotics cannot penetrate a cell membrane to get inside and kill a virus. Whereas essential oils like, for instance, On Guard, this is the protective blend from doTERRA. It kind of smells like Christmas in a bottle, cinnamon and wild orange and clove. It's super yummy. This oil is actually proven to be able to cross the cell membrane wall and kill viruses, inhibit their multiplication. And so we use On Guard all the time for specifically immune supporting properties, because like I said, it can cross the cell membrane wall, and it can because the little constituents are so small, and it's also fat soluble, and the cell membrane is made out of lipids or fats. So On Guard specifically, the ways we use it in our home is we'll add some to the diffuser and just do that to kill airborne pathogens. We use it in our like all-purpose cleaning sprays to make non-toxic cleaners that kill germs and things like that on surfaces. We also use it in our hand sanitizer and our hand soap. Because it has clove in it, it also is like really soothing to a sore throat. So you can gargle with it when you have a sore throat, or I know a lot of singers that will use it to protect their vocal cords. And my sneaky mom trick is that I will add a couple drops. Actually, just if you're doing one apple, you slice up the apple, throw it in some water, and add just one drop of On Guard, and then just let it sit for like about 10 minutes. And then you can drain off the water. And my son like loves apples like this because he loves that cinnamon flavor on the apple. And it's also supporting his immune system at the same time. So sneaky mom trick for the moms out there. So that's the second cool thing about essential oils, is there are circumstances where essential oils are actually more effective than modern medicine. And the third cool thing about essential oils is that they're affordable. and oftentimes more affordable, again, than different medical options. And so the one big disclaimer is that I'm not against modern medicine. There's totally a time and place. And my husband was diagnosed with Graves' disease 4 years ago in 2016. And if it wasn't for modern medicine, he literally could have had a heart attack. So there is totally an appropriate time and space for modern medicine. But the problem is most people don't know all the incredible opportunities that they have to use these little plant medicine bottles to support their body and its healing with great results that are safe, effective, and super affordable. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So the example I always like to give is where essential oils are actually more affordable. I like to walk through a situation that's happened multiple times with my sons. I have a son named Elliot and a son named Ever. And Ever actually recently got his first ever ear infection, or I assume it was. He was like fevering on and off, and I think he was teething, and then he was like hitting his ear every once in a while. You could tell his ear was bothering him. And so what we did was we pulled out our lavender and then our tea tree oil. And we used a drop of each in some coconut oil, and then we would just massage it in front and then behind his ear and just kind of pull down to encourage drainage. And I did that honestly probably like 3-ish times during the day, maybe 4. And within about a day and a half, his ear infection was completely gone. He had stopped hitting his ear. And he was still fevering on and off, but that passed with time too. So anyways, with that lavender and tea tree oil, these two oils cost about 8 cents a drop. So let's say I use it 3 times in a day, that's 48 cents worth of essential oils that I'm using to treat his ear infection. Versus like if I didn't know about essential oils, even if my copay was like $0 or $10, let's say it was really cheap, I still like I have to pay gas even to get to the doctor. And with essential oils, you don't have to do that. So that's one example of where essential oils can really save you a lot of money, is by honestly saving unnecessary trips to the doctor by being able to use the oils at home. And the next really cool piece within this is that I talked about lavender and tea tree oil being what I use specifically for ear infections. But those two oils are super versatile. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about them as we go throughout the class. But these two oils were actually, we use lavender for a burn when we first got the oils. So he got burnt in the kitchen. So you can use lavender for burns. You can use them for sunburns. You can use them for bug bites and that like itchiness that comes with it. Or say you get a bee sting or something like that. All of those things on our skin, it's somewhat of a allergic reaction that our body is experiencing. And that also shows when you use lavender, it will just like literally calm the skin down, calm down like the bug bite, all of that. And that's because lavender has antihistamine properties. So even if you have allergies and it causes itchy eyes, you can dab lavender around your eyes. There's all sorts of ways to use lavender. And for me specifically, when we first got our oils, besides Tyler getting burnt, the next thing that I used to tackle or to use my oils for was actually for my skin. I had really bad acne like all throughout high school and college. And at one point, right before I got my oils, in fact, I had just a lot of like really cystic acne going on in my cheeks. And then I had a lot down here underneath my jaw, which is a type of hormonal acne. And when I got my oils, I started using tea tree and lavender and frankincense on my skin. And I would just add it to some coconut oil. And within a few months, my skin had gotten so much better to the point that people were complimenting me on my skin. And this had literally never happened in my entire life because I just did not have nice skin and it stunk. Everything I tried didn't work. So it's fun because lavender and tea tree, literally that combination, you can use it for so many things. From ear infections to acne to your baby's diaper rash or poison ivy or like so many different things. So that's just another example where it also adds affordability because they're super versatile. So next we're going to talk about the 3 ways to use essential oils.
Yeah, so the first way to use essential oils is aromatically. If you pinch right above the bridge of your nose, under your fingers is the olfactory nerve. And the olfactory nerve sends messages to the limbic system in your brain, which sends messages through your whole body. So I know a lot of people, in fact, I was this person. I thought it was kind of crazy to think that I could impact my body just by smelling essential oils. But think about this. When you go to the doctor, like say you have to have a surgery or like get your wisdom teeth pulled, how do they deliver the anesthesia? They usually don't give you a shot or a pill. It's through a mask. You breathe in you breathe in like the laughing gas or whatever it is, and within 10 seconds they have you count to 10, and by the time you get to 10, most people are already knocked out. So it's super quick. It's the quickest way to impact the body, and the same is true with essential oils. When we smell them, the limbic system triggers our whole body, and so it's really effective. And then within that, there's different ways to use essential oils aromatically. You can do what we did with the peppermint, put it in your hands and just smell it that way. You can also put a few drops in a diffuser. That's kind of how we jumpstart our day in our house, is by diffusing peppermint to kind of wake us up. And then another go-to with peppermint is wild orange, which has like uplifting properties. And then the third way to use oils aromatically is just by smelling straight out of the bottle. So that's the use oils aromatically. The second way to use oils is topically. And oils are totally safe to use directly on the skin. For kids, hi Kara. For kids, it's recommended to dilute it with a little bit of coconut oil, or if you are someone who has sensitive skin. And in fact, the bottom of your feet the pores on the bottom of your feet are really big, and so putting oils on the bottom of your feet allows them to absorb into your bloodstream really quickly. So topically is the second way to use essential oils. The third way to use essential oils is internally, and you can put oils just like straight in your mouth. I'll do that with like an oil like frankincense or even copaiba. If ever I have a headache, that like peppermint is like my first route, and if that doesn't work, then I'll do frankincense, like a drop to the roof of my mouth. And that usually knocks it out. Yeah, Kristen is demonstrating. And then, but sometimes the oils, like if I have an issue that I want to address internally, the oils can sometimes have a funny taste. And so I'll put a drop in like a veggie cup like this. I don't know if you've seen these before. And you can make your own little concoction that way for oils that are too spicy. And one of my go-to ways for internal use is I occasionally get some digestive issues, a lot of times it's anxiety induced. I'll get worked up about something and then my stomach just gets all up in knots. And so I'll put an oil called Digestin in just like a drop or two in a small amount of water, just like a shot, and swallow it down. And within just a matter of minutes, my stomach usually calms right down. So that's the third way to use essential oils internally.
Cool. So we're going to now go through some of the most commonly used oils. And the one thing that I'll just add is, so lemon is one that we use internally all the time. But I do not recommend ingesting other brands of essential oils just because, like I said at the beginning of the class, a lot of times brands make claims but they're like, they'll say that it's 100% pure, they'll say that it's 100% therapeutic, or all these different things. But if you notice, honestly, a lot of brands, you'll look at them and it'll say for topical use only. So that's number one clue. You don't want to use them internally. And the second thing is, if they're not doing third-party testing like doTERRA, then for me personally, I wouldn't be comfortable ingesting them, just because you don't know what's actually in there. There's so many ways to adulterate oils and add the synthetic things. So that's just something you want to be really careful about. So with lemon specifically, we use this oil all the time, and it's the best because this oil is literally 4 cents a drop. It's so cheap. So this is a great oil to use in cleaners around your home, and specifically anything that's like greasy, or like if I ever have something like maybe my child marks on the walls, it happens. Or if there's like some sort of weird residue, like even like sticker residue, that when you're trying to get a sticker off of something new, I'll pull out my lemon, because it helps to, like, there have been so many times it's wowed me what lemon has been able to get rid of. Like even right back here, we have our whiteboard, and sometimes the marker, you know, when it just stops, you can't like get it off no matter how much elbow grease you put into it. I'll just pull out a little bit of lemon, put it on there, and it's amazing, like time and time again. So it's great for cleaning. And it's also a great detoxifier in your body. If you put lemon on a piece of styrofoam, it will actually eat a hole through it in about 5 minutes. And that's because lemon breaks down petrochemicals like styrofoam. So that's just one important thing to note, is when you drink lemon, you don't want to be using like a plastic water bottle or a plastic cup, because it will eat away at your water bottle, and you don't want to be drinking those chemicals in your water. That would defeat the purpose. So you want to make sure to drink out of glass or stainless steel or something like that. But that's a great way to support your body's detox systems and even your digestive tract. Next up, we'll talk about frankincense. Frankincense is a powerful oil for so many things in the oil world. A lot of people will say, when in doubt, pull the frankincense out, because it's kind of true. There's a reason they brought it to baby Jesus, because it is good for so many things. It is great, number one, for supporting calm feelings. It's a very grounding oil. It's a tree oil, and it smells like a tree. So it's just like, you like picture like, you know, when you walk out in a forest, it is just like calming to be smelling all those trees. That's the same thing with tree oils like frankincense. So this is an oil, like Haley said, that you can use to the roof of your mouth, especially if you're having even like a panic attack, or just even like lots of anxiety, because that's a quick way to get all the benefits to your brain. I have a nurse friend from Alabama that she literally will do this in the middle of a panic attack, and it pulls down her breathing and her heart rate and everything. And then frankincense is also a powerful anti-aging oil. So it's a great oil to add to your moisturizer at the end of the night, for your skin on your face. Like I mentioned, for what I was using in my skincare and what I still do. It like specifically any areas where you feel like it's more wrinkle prone, or like you're starting to see them come, or even if you have aging spots on your skin, it's great for that. And it's also great to help support your cells performing optimally. That's a creative way to say that frankincense is actually really powerful to support your body in killing cancer cells. And it's not compliant for me to say that, but I'm not telling you how to treat cancer right now. I'm just saying it's a powerful oil to use preventatively to support your body. And I'll give you one example. There's one of my mother-in-law's friends from Illinois. She had a super angry looking mole, is what she described it. Angry and crusty were the words she described. And she scheduled an appointment with a dermatologist, and they couldn't get her in for 2 months. So she asked me if there was any oil she could put on it. And I told her to put frankincense on it. So every day she was putting frankincense on it. And before her appointment even, she said it had gotten less angry looking and it was decreasing in size. And she went in, they confirmed it was cancerous, they removed it, all of that. But she was so amazed because it had literally already been decreasing the size of that mole. And so that shows externally how frankincense is really supportive to cellular health, and why not use it preventatively. I love using it in my skincare for just that reason. So next up, we'll talk about DigestZen. Haley gave a really good example of when you can pull the DigestZen out. My husband, with his grave diagnosis, one thing that we learned was that he really struggles with gluten, and it's like an irritant to his body. He doesn't necessarily have celiac, but he definitely has a sensitivity. So if he ever accidentally gets exposed to it, his stomach will really bother him. And he gets a headache shortly after and all that fun stuff. So what he's found is he'll do similar to what Haley does, and he just drops a couple drops under his tongue, and within about 5 minutes, his stomach has stopped knotting up. That doesn't mean he eats gluten all the time or anything like that, but it's powerful to have that solution on hand. I also have a lot of mamas on my doTERRA team that their little children have struggled with constipation issues to the point where they've had to take Miralax. And I mean, one of my friends from high school, her child literally was having to take Miralax every single day. And so when I met up with her, like saw her for the first time in a long time, I gave her a sample of DigestZen to just use topically on her daughter's tummy. And within a couple of weeks, they had weaned her off the Miralax, and she was just using the DigestZen. And after about a month or so, they didn't even have to use the DigestZen every day. Like, they really only pull out the DigestZen now for her if she eats a food that's weird and is hard on her tummy. So she just, like, it's really helped rebalance everything in her body overall, digestion wise. It's also great for motion sickness or like acid reflux, really just like any sort of digestive issues. DigestZen is really going to be helpful. So Deep Blue is an oil. It also, I always forget you guys can't smell these. So DigestZen smells kind of like black licorice. It has like peppermint and anise in it. It's honestly not my favorite oil, but it works. So I use it when I need it. And Deep Blue has peppermint in it, and it's very, and wintergreen, it's very like, it smells like icy hot, only it's the natural form of that. So Deep Blue is going to be really great for helping with achy muscles and joints, or helping with like tension in your neck that leads to a headache. I like to call this the husband's oil, because when I first got my oils, I used my Deep Blue with some coconut oil, and I gave my husband a massage, and he was like all about the oils from that point on. He was like, of course, these are great. You can give me a massage every night. Obviously I don't, but he really does love Deep Blue. And we've used this even in circumstances, once early on with our oils again, my husband fell and he hurt his hand really bad to the point that he couldn't get his wedding ring off. And we knew it wasn't broken, but we started using Deep Blue with frankincense. And I was like, honey, let's just test it out. If it doesn't work, you can go get something over the counter like ibuprofen or whatever you need. Because at that point, my husband was actually an accountant, so he had to use his fingers and his hands every day for typing. So like, it wasn't an option for him to just like push through the pain, right? So anyways, I made a roller bottle with him, or for him, I mean. And this is what a roller bottle looks like. So it had like about 20 drops of Deep Blue in it, and then about 10 drops of frankincense, and the rest was liquid coconut oil. Because remember, doTERRA's oils are so potent that it's not like you need a full drop every time you use them. So he would take this roller bottle and he would just literally roll it on his fingers. And for him, it took away the throbbing pain. And then 3 to 4 hours later, usually he said the throbbing would come back. So then he'd reapply it. And he just did that on and off. And after 2 days, he could actually get his wedding ring off again and everything with literally no over-the-counter medications. We were so impressed. This was, again, early on with our oils, and we're like, whoa, we don't even need ibuprofen. This is amazing. So Breathe is another blend that also has peppermint in it. And then it has eucalyptus and melaleuca and lemon and all these respiratory supporting oils. It smells amazing. And this oil is just so powerful for respiratory issues. So for example, Ashley's on our call, and one of her friends has struggled with asthma really bad. And she used to have to use an inhaler, and now she just takes Breathe and she'll swipe a little bit under her nose or put a drop in her palm and rub them together and just breathe it in, and she doesn't even need to use her inhaler anymore. So breathe really helps open your airways, whether it's asthma or allergies, or like my little boys have been congested a little bit. So we've been running breathe in the diffuser at night so they're not waking up from like a cough from their drippy nose and all that kind of stuff. There's an old man on my team that actually gets mad at his wife if they run out of breathe because it helps him sleep so much better. So if you know any snorers, this is also oil that's going to be really helpful for both them because they get better sleep, and you because also you will get better sleep. So this is, like I said, a great one for respiratory stuff. And then Haley mentioned wild orange too. This is like walking in an orange grove. It smells so yummy. People say that you can't continuously smell wild orange. Basically, you can't smell it for longer than 6 seconds and continue to think a negative thought. But honestly, it smells so good and it really is uplifting. I've actually had, again, multiple people on my team struggling with things like seasonal depression or just like mood issues, and they will use this regularly. And my favorite way to use it is I'll put some in my palm or some in the diffuser, and I just take a few minutes to do like a little bit of deep breathing and just like check in with myself and realize like, where am I right now? And then pray. And for me, honestly, it becomes this like habit stacking thing in my life. My oils make me stop because I'm like, okay, I need something right now. And I do that and I'm like, oh yeah, what I really need is to pray too. And so it becomes this really positive cycle in my life where I can use both and they work together and help support my mental well-being and like my emotional health, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it literally just looks like I smell my wild orange and I remind myself it's just a season. Your children are going to grow up and then you will be so sad that they're grown up. So anyways, it's, like I said, just a great way to check in with yourself, and it is so supportive to your mood. Adaptive, I wish you could smell because it's really hard to describe the smell of this one. It has wild orange in it, and then it has lavender in it, and it has copaiba and spearmint and magnolia and rosemary. And a few other oils, and it just smells so good. doTERRA actually came out with this oil last year, and it's been so timely because it's really helped a ton of people with everything that's been going on in our world, all the insane stress and just like anxiety that comes along with it and everything. So this is a great oil to use in the diffuser to support your mood. I love to use it when I'm working because it helps me calm down so I can also like focus and get the things done I need to get done. And then I also like to use it at night before we go to bed. So copaiba is an oil that's similar in a lot of ways to frankincense. With all oils, some people respond differently with different oils, and this just happens to be like my husband's oil. This works so well for him. So with his Graves' diagnosis, one of the things that we learned was that he was dealing with a lot of anxiety that was driven by his hormones because Graves makes your thyroid go really, really fast. So if you're somebody that struggles with like anxiousness and things like that, I just encourage you to like experiment around and try different things. But for him, he literally would use a drop of copaiba, put it to the roof of his mouth, just like Haley talked about. And for him, it calms him down within a matter of minutes. He does a little bit of deep breathing and it helps him get out of that like super stressed, irritable state. For some people, this is really powerful and helpful for pain. My father-in-law fell off the roof and had to have hip surgery after that all happened. And copaiba, he literally uses 2 drops in his water morning and night, and that's what's really helped him take care of issues with pain. This oil has been compared, because of the way it interacts with your body, it's been compared to CBD oil. It is not from the same plant as CBD is, but it interacts with your endocannabinoid system and it really just helps to, like I said, support your body in so many of the same things that people use CBD oil for. The only difference is copaiba is a lot cheaper, and I've heard a lot of people say that use CBD that when they switch, they actually see better results with copaiba. So at this point in the class, I just really encourage you to think through what are the top things that you or your family really need solutions on hand for. A lot of people right now need solutions for things like mood and immune support. A lot of people are becoming more conscious and aware and looking for ways to cut out toxins, or maybe there's just little symptoms that you deal with throughout the day that you'd like to have a natural solution for instead of having to reach for something over the counter. So like I said, bring those to the front of your mind again. And if somebody invited you to the class today, I encourage you text them with your like top 3 goals, because they want to work with you and help you and suggest oils for those things. So at every class, I always have to talk about this. The Lifelong Vitality Pack is doTERRA's #1 sold product. Even though they're an essential oil company, this is their #1 sold product. And the first time you buy it, if you don't see results with it, you can actually get your money returned to you. And so ultimately, it's a whole food supplement, which is a combination of a multivitamin, an antioxidant, and an omega. And for like this supplement pack specifically, so many people when they start using it, what they realize is it really helps to address the root issue that's going on within their body. So people with a lot of pain, it's helped with all the inflammation and helped them to like feel better in their own body each day. For people that are getting sick often, it's helpful for the immune system. I actually have a friend I played college basketball with, and she's a teacher, and when she started taking this, it was like the first school year, she went through the whole school year without getting sick at all from the kids. So it's great for the immune system. It's also really helpful for mood management. I have like a pastor's wife and an actual pastor on my team that have used this to support their mood, and then gotten to the point that they were feeling so good that they actually went to their doctor, and one of them was on depression meds, one was on anxiety, and both of them asked their doctor to start working off those meds because they were just feeling so great. And for me, honestly, the biggest change that I noticed when I started taking it was my energy. It was just so much better. And as a mom, that's a really big deal. So anyways, I always encourage people at some point, you need to just try it and see how you do. Because if you don't see good results, you can always get your money back. So now I'll briefly walk through the main ways that you can purchase doTERRA. The first way I don't ever recommend. Anybody can buy doTERRA at the retail price, but this is the most expensive. And ultimately, you would only really buy doTERRA at the retail cost if you're going to like a chiropractor and you just buy it off their shelf, or a spa or something like that, and you're just buying one thing. But like I said, I don't suggest that for anybody on the class. The second way you can purchase doTERRA is by getting a wholesale account. And this is very similar to Costco. You pay a $35 fee, and then for the year, you get access to doTERRA at the 25% off membership price, which is the same as what I pay. But the cool thing is, when you have a wholesale account, there are no requirements. So you're not required to buy a certain amount within a year. You're not required to sell the products. There's no weird requirements. It's literally you're getting the discount available to you by your own login, and then you can just go online and purchase things with your discount whenever you want. The third way to purchase doTERRA is by getting a starter kit. And this is the most common way that people get started with doTERRA, because it gets you a wholesale account without having to pay the $35 fee. And because of the way doTERRA bulks the products together, you actually save additional money on top of the 25% off. So ultimately, it's just like the best deal. And once you get a kit, this is really just like a gateway. I always tell people, like, it's like your way of getting your little natural plant medicine cabinet makeover in your home. And from that point, like, there are so many ways doTERRA will help you get out toxins out of your home, help you have whole food supplements, all those sorts of things. And it really just becomes this positive cycle in your life of learning all these non-toxic options that you have available and how they can help you and your family. So ultimately, when you get a wholesale account, the things that you can expect are, number one, the person that invited you to the class, they'll be the one that would help you you up with it, and they will meet with you after you get your oils to make sure you know exactly how to use the stuff that you bought, because that is always our number one goal. We don't want people to buy oils and then they're just like these pretty bottles sitting in a drawer somewhere. We want you to know how to put them to work and see results with them. So the second sweet perk is that you will get access to our VIP education group, and it's an amazing space on Facebook where there's literally like a search bar and there's just so much information right there. So even for me, I created the group. When I'm like, I have a question, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go search our group because so many different oilers have shared their testimonies, what worked for them, all those sorts of things. So I use the group all the time. We also on that group do a lot of different giveaways. And we, like even last night, we did a private class all about pets and essential oils for all of the people on our team. And we're doing a giveaway with it. So it's like, there's always fun things like that available. And then also, obviously, you have ongoing support. When you buy oils from like Whole Foods or something like that, or from Amazon, there is nobody there to help you when you have questions, or when you're wanting to make sure you're using it safely, or if you're wanting to like try something different because you're not seeing results, or whatever it is. They're going to help problem solve with you, help you find what works best for you. And that is one of my favorite parts about the way doTERRA is set up, is that you get that personalized help along the way. So at this point, I'm going to move forward and I'm going to talk about the different starter kits. But what I want to remind you is you don't have to feel like you have to understand all the different kits. The person that invited you will really help you based on your wellness goals to narrow down what would be the best options for you. And then you can pick whatever one is best for you. So this first kit, the Healthy Start Kit, is a great kit as like a get your feet wet sort of kit, because it comes with the top 10 most used oils in doTERRA, and they come in this smaller size bottle. So there's about 80 drops of essential oil in here, and then it comes with the diffuser. This kit is a great kit if you are like at a place where you're like, I really know I need to try whole food supplements. And that if that's one of your main goals, this is a great kit. And then it comes with some mood balancing oils like lavender and frankincense and balance. And then it also comes with lemon and On Guard, and then the Deep Blue Rub, which is like Deep Blue oil, only in a rub form. It's already in lotion. And then this kit is the Healthy Essentials Kit. This is one of my favorite kits. And basically, it's similar to a Healthy Start Kit, but there's a few oils that are different. So it comes with a few more options for mood balancing. So if that's one of your goals, then this is a great kit, because it has adaptive, lavender, balance is also great for mood, and then it also has copaiba to use internally. And then it also has a lot of the basics like lemon and peppermint, and the great blends like Breathe and DigestZen, On Guard, Deep Blue. And I also love this kit because it comes with the bigger size bottle. So this is literally 3 times the amount of oil that comes in this size of a bottle. So, but you can see this is not 3 times the price of the Healthy Start Kit, the first one we talked about. And then it comes with a diffuser too. So I really like this kit for that reason. And then this kit is a great kit because it comes with all the different top most used oils. And then it also has a lot of doTERRA's non-toxic products. So if you're looking for ways to like really quickly just get rid of a bunch of toxins in your home, this is a great kit to get. I wish that I would have gotten this kit, but at the beginning I just didn't know about these other products, but it's such a good deal. So it comes with the shampoo and conditioner. We use it and love it all the time, or we use it all the time. It has their non-toxic toothpaste, the cleaner concentrate, the hand wash, the hand sanitizer, and then one of my favorite diffusers. And then this kit is like the go big or go home sort of kit. It's obviously a higher price point, but you definitely save the most amount of money with this kit. And it's obviously going to help you like eliminate a ton of toxins. It comes with a ton of the most used oils. It comes with the supplements, a diffuser. It comes with the cute little box to hold your oils. It really has everything that you need in this kit. And then this kit is great if you are looking for like a super budget friendly kit. maybe you already have doTERRA oils on hand, you already have a diffuser, then this could be a good option for you because it's a lower price point and it's also customizable. So if you get this kit and say you really wanted an oil that is not in one of the starter kits, then you can add it on to this really easily. And ultimately, this month is awesome. doTERRA has not done a promo like this in a really long time, but if you spend over $150 as a new customer with doTERRA, you get $50 for free added to your account. So it's a really awesome promo. And a lot of people are taking advantage of it, getting a lot of free stuff, which is great. So one of the things I wanted to move into next is ultimately at every one of my classes, there's always 3 different types of people. The first type of person is somebody that is really looking to maximize their health routine, see results in their health. And they're pumped about the discount they can get through doTERRA and all the education. And for that type of person, they will love doTERRA clearly because of all those reasons. The second type of person is somebody that was sitting through this class, and of course they're excited to use doTERRA for their own well-being, but they're the type of person that they're like already thinking of people in their brain of like, oh, my friend needs to try that oil, my coworker needs to try this, my aunt needs to try this. And for that type of person, doTERRA has a great way for people like that to earn income that helps pay for their healthcare products with doTERRA. And we also do something fun where if you want to host a class, we give you this free little keychain, and it's perfect for a little first aid kit on the go because you can have these little vials in it, and you ultimately then don't have to lug around all these big bottles in your purse. And so if you host a class, you get this keychain for free. And then for every person that you have at a class, you get those little bottles filled up with oil. So the third type of person is somebody that is looking to earn an income with doTERRA. They're looking at it professionally, and maybe they're thinking like, oh, I would love to do what she's doing right now. Or I really resonate with what doTERRA is doing and how they're helping people, and I would love to be a part of that mission. And ultimately for me, I've been all 3 of these people at one time or another. I started out as a customer, obviously, and then quickly turned into somebody that just couldn't shut my mouth, because when people are struggling with things I had saw results with, I was like, hey, have you tried peppermint oil? And then ultimately, when we first moved to Waco, Texas, that's where we live right now, and we were sitting in front of a doctor literally a week after we had moved, and the doctor told us that Tyler, he at the time was 29 years old and was being diagnosed with Graves' disease. And the doctor that we first met with told us that he would need to be on medication, and then after about a year, he would either need to be have his thyroid cut out or radiated, and then he would need to be on medication for the rest of his life. And from that point, ultimately, because we had learned so much in the past, we weren't willing to accept it. And we did a lot of digging, we did a lot of research, we got other opinions. And what we found was there was actually people that had reversed what Tyler had, Graves' disease. But a huge piece of it, both why people are diagnosed with autoimmune conditions like Graves' disease, and also a piece of the healing process, is always going to be learning how to deal with stress and minimizing stress in your life. And when I learned that stress was such a key to him healing, I honestly just something flipped in me, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with him working at a job that he doesn't love. He likes the people that he works with and those sorts of things, but ultimately he's just trying to pay the bills, and he was so stressed by it. It was causing a ton of stress in his life. And there was no doubt in my mind that stress had been a piece of why he was being diagnosed with this in the first place. And so I just decided I was going to work my booty off and help a bunch of people and get us to a place where he could quit his job and we could just do doTERRA full time as a family. And ultimately that ended up happening in October of 2017. And 6 months later, so 6 months after he quit his job, his Graves' disease was in full remission. And his antibody numbers were normal, his thyroid numbers were normal, he wasn't on medication, he's feeling great, all those sorts of things. And ultimately, for me, I'm just so thankful for doTERRA. And no matter the reason why you're joining this class, I'm excited for you if you're looking at it as business, or if you're looking at it as somebody that's just pumped to use it in your wellness arsenal. It has been such a huge piece in our life with even just the copaiba oil for Tyler, and it's been so much more than that. So ultimately, at this point in the class, I always like to take a break and we can just go through some question and answers. If you guys have any questions, or maybe if there is something that you're wondering if there's an oil you can use for it that I didn't talk about or anything like that, I'd love to help answer any questions that you guys have. And you can type them in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself if you want to talk out loud too. Oh, you don't have any questions, Kara? Okay, cool. Well, and yeah, if nobody has any questions, that's no problem. Normally at this point of the class, I'll continue on and I talk for about 10 minutes about the joy of sharing essential oils. So if that's something that you're interested in at all, you're welcome to stay, but no pressure. You're welcome to, if you need to head out, that's great too. And ultimately, the person that invited you to the class will follow up with you and make sure they can help answer your questions and direct you to the best kit options for you and all those sorts of things. So thanks for joining. And like I said, I'll continue on. You're welcome to stay if you want to. So I always like to start this piece of the class by talking about why doTERRA and why now. Like, why partner with doTERRA, why build a business with doTERRA, and why now? And really the first reason is what we talked about at the beginning of the class. They're the most trusted oil brand because of all the third-party testing that they do. And they are used by doctors all around the world. Honestly, even like places like Johns Hopkins, they're doing all these different research tests with them and really, really cool things in the realm of science. And so ultimately, if you're looking at a business, obviously you want to know that it's trusted and being used even by doctors and things like that. The second thing is doTERRA's retention rate is 65%. And what that means is for people that first buy doTERRA, 65% of the time they will buy stuff from doTERRA at least every 3 months. And the reason that's important is for two reasons. Number one, it tells me that doTERRA's products work. And ultimately, I don't want to sell anything that it doesn't work. I want it to be able to positively impact people. And the second reason is when you're doing it as a business, you want to know that you're going to be able to really focus in on one customer and really help them with so many things in their life instead of constantly having to be finding new people. The third thing is, I think through this whole year, people have really realized that an alternate income or diversifying their income is really key and something that they want because of, like I said, everything that happened with coronavirus. We here in Waco in our life group, almost all of our life group leaders or life group friends, everybody that's in our life group, they own some form of a business. And through coronavirus, it was extremely, extremely stressful. And for us, I'm super thankful to say that really the only thing that changed was we just continued doing everything online, and our son was home with us during the day instead of being at school. But I'm so thankful that doTERRA gave us an option that was super flexible, where we didn't have to like go through all these super stressful things to figure out how to switch everything with our business. The fourth thing is doTERRA through all this has really been thriving, even in an economy that hasn't been the entire time. So April, if you remember April, it was not a good month in the economy. And for us in doTERRA, it was actually a record-breaking month in every single way, which we were super, super thankful for. And ultimately, I think that comes from a place because people were starting to realize the need to take greater responsibility for their health. And so that's ultimately why doTERRA, why now? So when I first started this, I told you guys I was literally just a customer looking for ways to replace synthetic fragrances. I never imagined that this would be what would result. This is actually a bunch of the different leaders on my team that share doTERRA within their communities. And we were all at doTERRA's convention in Salt Lake City last year together. And it's such a gift to be able to do this alongside all these people. It's so fun. So questions you might have is 1, how do I make money? 2, how much time is involved? 3, could this work for me? And then 4, what's the next step? So to make money in doTERRA, it really starts with like sampling people and giving them an experience of how powerful doTERRA oils are. And then from that place, once they've had a great experience, you're going to teach a class and then you help them enroll. And when you help somebody enroll, that obviously is the place where you would be earning money. And from there on, you're going to continue to support your customer and help them see the best results and get them to awesome classes that they would love and all those sorts of things. And within doTERRA, if you want like this specific thing, you can actually look it up online. It's called the doTERRA Build Guide, but this kind of walks through, there's 3 levels of engagement people will typically have with the business. The first type of person is looking to pay for their product. And you can see those 2 ranks down at the bottom, Elite and Premier. The average earnings for those people are usually $365 to $939 per month. And it tells you the average that they typically, the number of people they enroll and all those sorts of things. The second group of people would be people that are looking to supplement their income. And for this type of person, we have lots of people like these on our team, people that are at the silver, gold, or platinum range income-wise. And I'll give you one example. There's a sweet woman named Dawn, and she's actually a retired nurse. She was able to retire earlier because of doTERRA and the income she was getting through it. And she's so thankful because now she gets to help people with their wellness while at the same time prioritizing her grandkids and her church and other things that she's passionate about. And then the third group of people are people that are looking to replace and multiply their income at the ranks of diamond, blue diamond, presidential diamond. Ultimately, it doesn't stop. It continues to go up. There's ranks above that. And within all of this, you can just see that whatever your goals are, you get to choose what your path is and what you want to see in your life. So with these 3 pathways, the first type of person that wants to have their health products paid for typically is going to spend about 3 to 5 hours per week consistently to be able to do that. The second type of person is going to spend about 5 to 15 hours per week to supplement their income. And then the third type of person is typically going to spend about 15 to 30 hours per week to replace their income. And so, for example, with us, I told you I was at all 3 of these different levels at different points in my journey. And ultimately, when I decided that we wanted to go diamond and be able to do this full time, it took us about a year and a half from that point. And I would say it's pretty true that I was spending about 30 hours per week on my business from that point on. So yeah, and it's like honestly changed our life in so many ways. So ultimately, you might be thinking, could this work for me? And I always encourage people to ask yourself these questions. 1, are you passionate about oils and natural health? 2, do you love people? Because you definitely have to love people. 3, can you follow a system and get things done? We have an awesome training system that lays out for you the steps and what this needs to look like. And if you can follow that training system and just commit to the process, with time, you will see your goals become a reality. So what's the next step? It starts with having a wholesale account. And I always encourage people really like focus in on using your oils and seeing results with them, because that is going to be the thing that will propel you time and time again in your business. Like for me, even like 6 years in, I use oils for my son's ear infection and they help him. And it reminds me that there's so many moms out there that don't have these options at their fingertips, which is why I need to keep teaching. So it starts with you and your own healing and your own experiences with the oils. The second thing from there is to reach out for help. We on my team, the Living Drop Collective, we're super collaborative, and we look for ways to help each other and make it more efficient for you in the process. And we have lots of resources to help you. And then the third thing is the most fun. Start making a list of people that you want to reach out to and then sample them. This is really where the fun comes in at the beginning. It's a little scary, I'll be real. But once you get into it and you start experiencing it, it's the most fun part, because that's the point where you start to see people see positive results with the oils, and the ripples start happening of the ways that you're able to help people. So it becomes addicting. It's so fun. So to end with, I love this quote. It says, "The only thing keeping you from what you want is your story about why you can't have it." And I resonate with this quote on so many levels. The first for me, like when we're looking at this as a business, is I remember graduating from college and being in real world life and just being like, this stinks. It is so hard. We always have limited vacation, and there's never enough money to like give to the things or do the things that we want to. And it was just stressful. And that was the story I was telling myself, was that I don't like real life. And then doTERRA happened, and we started dreaming for the first time about like actually being able to do the things that we felt like God had put on our hearts. The second thing is to go along with this quote is since Tyler, his Graves' disease has been reversed, we've had so many people come up to us and say, the doctor told me that I had to get my thyroid out. And ultimately that was a story that they were told, that they then took as truth and kept repeating in their head, I have to get my thyroid out. And that makes me so sad, because it's not true. And there's a lot of people out there that will tell themselves like, oh, it's just normal to have period cramps terrible every single month, or, oh, it's just normal to have headaches and like have to take ibuprofen and all those sorts of things. And that's just not true. It's maybe like common, but it's not normal. And there are ways that you can support your body and see different results. So ultimately, I'm so glad that you guys joined. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about your experiences with doTERRA as you move forward. Thanks for joining, guys. If you have questions, I'll stay on here for a few more minutes, and feel free to unmute yourself, or we can chat through things.
I know questions, but I love you.
Hey.
Can't hear me. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for joining, Christy. I'm like impressed you're still in the same spot.
Oh yeah, that's because Matt put the baby down.
Oh, way to go, Daddy. That's awesome.
Good job, Matt.
Did Reed put Emery down too?
Yeah, but she was supposed to be asleep like when I got home, because
Oh.
it's 10:15 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the dads need deep blue rubs now.
Yeah.
True.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining, Christy. Do you have any questions?
Not really. I can chat with Ashley a little bit too. I kind of am similar to Ashley. I am doing Young Living, but not the business.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know anything about doTERRA and wanted to learn more and see kind of similarities, differences.
Totally.
Because I just have no idea.
Yeah, I'm so glad you joined.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm glad you've learned about the benefits of oils.
Yeah, I use them now. I just don't use them as much as I could.
Yeah, totally. It's such a learning process too, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're working, I'm sure Ashley told you, we're working on a little handout that walks through the differences. Because I knew some of them, but then Ashley brought to my awareness so many other ones too. So I'm hoping to have that done by the end of the week. It's my top priority tomorrow, Ashley. Ashley's like, I already put all my stuff in there. Get on it.
No, but I am excited. We're doing like a Young Living versus doTERRA like comparison, not like, just comparison.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see that. I noticed though that the kits were more expensive.
The starter kits? Huh.
I think, right?
I've never looked at Young Living's or their starter kits.
So the basic one, like the 161 is very comparable, but I think if I remember right, and Christy, you can help me, I think there's some more options that are a little bit lower. But they both have, I think doTERRA is 160 and then Young Living's is 161 for the first one.
Oh, okay.
The first like tier. Yeah.
I'd have to look and see what oils I got, and I'm just curious to know the comparison. I'm very inquisitive
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
totally.
very science based because I work in the medical field, so I'm
Oh,
always
cool.
asking questions and
I love science.
researching all that.
What do you do in the medical field?
I'm a dental hygienist, and my husband's a
cool.
nurse.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah. I love people in the medical field because they just like understand health or in like how the body works more than the average person does. So that's
Yeah.
great. Cool. Well, yeah, I'll definitely work on that handout and get it to Ashley so
Okay.
you can check it out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for joining.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you, Ashley.
Bye.